ThNOT Thursday night on tour. My name is Nick Cartell. I play Jean Valjean on the national tour of Les Miserables, and I use Thursday nights on tour as more of an educational forum for folks out there that want to know more about this life in the theater and life on the road. And so I like to introduce you to all different sorts of people, every different part of this company and industry. And that's why I have this lovely individual sitting next to me.
Hi, I'm Arianne.
Will you please introduce yourself and say what you do here at Les Miserables?
I'm Arianne DiCerbo.
Yes!
And I am a woman of many M's.
Like a woman of many M's.
I'm female ensemble. And all of my different characters in each scene, we've made up some M names.
We're going to get into that.
We'll get into that.
But what else do you do?
I also cover Madam T.
That's right.
Another M.
Another M name. The Madam herself, Madame Thénardier. Arianne, where did you grow up and how did you get into theater?
I grew up in Southington, Connecticut.
Oh, yes, very nice.
And we were just at the Bushnell.
We were.
So I got to go tour through the house that I saw a bunch of shows at when I was a kid, all the way through adulthood. Like I saw.
It's always exciting
everything.
when we get to go back to where we started, where we grew up seeing theater, and then we are getting to do our show there. That's really cool.
It was insanely emotional, and and I saw Scott Haney, who I was freaking out about because he's like a local celebrity on the news. He was a weatherman, and then he had his own show, and so I got to go on his show, and I was geeking out all week about it because I was like, Scott Haney, I'm gonna meet Scott Haney. I'm so excited. So yeah, I got to do some press.
I love it.
That was so much fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's get into because you've had so many different careers within the theater.
I have.
And she also not only does this every night, full time, she's on stage, but she also has another full-time job.
I have a day job.
She has a day job while she's on the road. So we're going to get into all of this. But how did you know that you wanted to pursue a life in the theater?
Okay. So when I was, this is my Les Mis story. So when I was 4, my parents couldn't find a babysitter, or they just failed at whatever. They were like, she's quiet. Got front row seats to see Les Mis on Broadway.
Oh my gosh.
A long time ago. It's like Colm Wilkinson.
Like original turntable.
Original turntable, B-Way in the 80s. And in early 90s. Early 90s.
That old.
Early 90s. But it was close. And I had a booster seat, and I sat right behind the conductor.
Wow.
And they were so impressed, I'm sure, because I just sat there the whole time.
Completely mesmerized.
That the conductor at intermission turned around and said, "Hey, you guys want to come backstage after the show?"
What?
So
I know this story?
yes,
This is why I love having people on, because we
my
find out
latest
all these stories. Go, please.
So we meet up at the stage door, and we go backstage, and that was back when they had a whole thing where the wedding dresses would be hung up, and the women would go under this rack, put their arms up, and the dresses would drop down.
To get into the dresses.
Yep.
Wow.
So I remember looking up and seeing that, and then I cried because I saw the dead bodies, because they used to have stuffed dead bodies of the police on the other side of barricade.
Yeah.
So when it turned around, you saw those dead bodies.
Yeah, they weren't stagehands.
And Gavroche crawled over them and then
God.
died by getting shot in front of everybody. It was crazy.
It was insane.
And I saw it 4 or 5 years old.
Jeez.
So
not traumatizing at all.
not traumatized. I was hooked, so that was, it was pretty much from then on. I was always seeing theater, being involved. I wanted to actually be a cellist.
Okay.
And I played in many a pit during school, and around my junior year when we were doing auditions, and I was looking at all the New England Conservatory and all these things, I broke my thumb in gym class. So I could not
You need your thumb for cello.
couldn't do any of my cello auditions. So then I said, you know what? I'll audition for the school musical. And now here we are. Because then I was like, my voice is here all the time.
There you go.
You carry that around.
Yes. It's a lot less, it's a lot less strenuous than carrying a cello in you.
And then it kind of was like, oh, well, duh. Duh.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been I sing really well. Maybe that's also a route.
Yeah.
Then I went to Emerson College, BFA, woot woot. And after Emerson, I moved to the city. I was on a children's theater tour for 3 years. Shout out Missoula Children's Theater. little truck with the set,
Yeah.
driving around the country,
Jeez.
playing Boo Boo the Clown.
Yep. Yep.
Country.
We're all making our
We were in a
ways
country Beauty and the Beast.
Wow.
I was.
Thank you, Amanda.
That
All
was
right.
crazy. And a
Okay.
leprechaun.
And a
many
leprechaun.
things. And then I was in the city pounding the pavement.
Uh-huh.
And could, the big line down the block, 5 a.m.,
Back when you had to
4
sign up and just
a.m.,
wait in line.
and you
there was
just
no
went
digital sign
unofficial
up.
list.
Yep.
And I just could not get cast. And I was like, what the heck's going on? So I took a bunch of classes. I was doing stage management and a ton of stuff.
Mhm.
And then I actually ended up going into IATSE because...
Right. So IATSE
Yep.
is the stagehand.
Stagehand union. So I toured as an IATSE ACT member for 4 or 5 years and was props. Kept doing stage management, kept auditioning, got an agent. I was in a movie, still in IATSE, and then I got my equity card actually through stage managing Hello Dolly with Sally Struthers.
With
Sally, good old Sally. We love Sally.
We love
She's
Sally
a
Struthers.
hoot. She's a hoot. And so then I had my equity card, and I was like, no more cattle call.
Right.
And then things started getting much easier as far as like getting in the room.
Uh-huh.
I had an agent, all those
You
things.
still have to do the work, but it's
Yes.
easier to, yeah. Mhm.
It's easier, but it's still a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then actually, my agent dropped me, and I got this audition myself, all but by my own work,
Mhm.
and booked it without an agent. So look at that.
Look at,
But
I booked
the
my
hustle
Broadway-
is real.
Listen, I booked my Broadway debut off an open call.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Go
but
to those
it
EPAs.
happens. Go to those EPAs. Go to those
Go.
ECCs, equity principal auditions or equity chorus call auditions that happen in the city. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
They are,
Yeah.
So there we are. And here you are today.
And here I am today. It
And here you are
was
today.
worth the struggle.
So not only, like we said, Arianne does, Les Mis every night, but then you also have another
I do.
full-time day job.
I do.
And where do you work?
I work at Music Theater International.
You can never
So,
get away from
I
musical
can't.
theater.
I do musicals from literally 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day.
And what do you do for MTI, as it's called?
So I work in music and materials. I'm a music and materials associate.
Uh-huh.
So I have a wide range of things I do, lots of proof work. I basically put everything together into Adobe InDesign, which is our own template for our scripts. So like Final Draft, if you're a person on the computer who
Yeah.
does theater. But we do our own template. And I should have brought one of my books because I'm working on Charlie TYA, Theater for Young Audiences version.
TYA.
So I have the printed copy, and I was thumbing through it during the last show backstage. So we're just,
I mean, whenever she's not on stage,
We're
you'll find
cooking.
her like wherever there's internet, and she's like, hold on, save, and then she runs on stage. It's incredible, and it's very hard work. Like you do long hours, and you work a ton.
I do.
But you love
been
it.
great. I love it. Yeah, I love it. I'm a little addicted to the musicals.
But it's a good place to be. So somebody asked a question. So you said, did you go to the open call for Les Mis?
So it was post-COVID. They had a lot of video submissions.
Mm.
So luckily, my first submission was through the Actors Equity website as a video. Then I got called in person.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it was like an open call video
It was
submission.
an open call, but COVID version.
COVID
which
version
is
of open call, which was the video submission.
videos. Now they
And-
don't do that.
Correct.
Yes.
Now they don't do that.
They're back to in person.
In-person auditions. And then when you found out, what was your reaction to when you found out?
So I screamed. I was in Maine. I was home. My dad had a hip replacement.
Mm.
My mom had some other procedure. So I was like, why? And I work from home. I was working from home, MTI.
Yeah.
And I was like, why on earth am I not with you? So I drove myself up to Maine. It was like 2020.
Yep.
And, I was working it from home in Maine, and it was the middle of the night. My dad just getting tucked in, was like laying, in bed with his hip up, and I checked my email at like 11 o'clock at night, and I went, ah! And I woke up the whole house, and my dad was like, what?
I can't move.
What's going on?
I can't. My hip.
What are you saying up there? And I'm like running down the stairs, and I was like, I got an in-person call from Madame Thenardier, Madame T, screaming, and it was very exciting.
And when did you find out that you booked the show?
It was a long process.
Yeah.
So I think I just recently had the anniversary of my video submission, so I think that was January. And then February or March is when I got in the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second time they called me back, they wanted the entire packet for female ensemble. So basically it was a one-woman show of the Docs.
Yep.
Which I now run as Madam W of the Docs. And then Madam T stuff as well for understudy. So that was the third appointment, if you will. And then they put that on tape, and they were like, we don't need you to come to the producer round. We think we have seen what we need to see. And then I just waited for like
worst.
2 months.
It's
like
the
it was
worst.
a long wait. And then April. Yeah,
You got the call.
I got the call.
They said, come to Relay Miss.
And TMI, I was on the toilet when I checked my email on my phone. And I screamed from the bathroom. And my husband was in the kitchen. And he went, what's going on? And I was like, I booked it! On the toilet. Screaming that I booked it. Spencer loved that story. One of our
Listen,
cast
at least if you were going to wet yourself, at least you were where
I was already, I was safe.
Exactly.
I was in a safe
You were
place.
safe. So now she is, we said earlier, she is the lady of many M's. And what I love is that the ensemble, they create their own backstories. I mean, a lot of their own backstories and a lot of their own character names. And it really does help. I feel like it really does help the ensemble to like really put them in a place and a time, and it also makes it very fun for all of us backstage, because then when we're interacting with folks on stage, we can use
names.
those names.
Yeah.
So if you will please run down
Oh my
why
gosh.
you are
Okay.
Lady M
Okay.
of the Barricade.
So it started with Kelsey Dene, who called me Marguerite as the maid in the opening, which is my first
in the
appearance.
Bishop's
doorway. And then after Marguerite came Martha, who was my first, actually technically was the name of my wig. I have a new wig now. Very lovely, because I've been here a very long time. But Martha was the OG. So Martha was pretty much the factory.
Yep.
And then what's after that? Doc's Madam Horror is Arianne, so she's just Madam W.
Madam W.
And then after that is... You think I'd know the order of the show?
Then we go into Runaway Cart.
Runaway Cart.
After Runaway Cart, it is the trial. Then it's Master of the House.
Midge. Now Midge, I've been called outside of work, so this name has kind of turned into a nickname.
It's the nickname.
It's the nickname.
Everybody calls her Midge.
It's Midge.
So Midge.
Midge is the old woman.
I love it.
And then after Midge comes Violet, which is not a V name, an M name.
Oh.
Violet's special, and she came with the new wig. So she's not on my old swag.
I was gonna say,
she's
she
not
has
on my
swag
old
with all of the
she's
M names
special.
on it. Okay, so
Yeah.
Violet, and who is Violet? When is Violet used?
Violet is used in Paris.
Oh, okay.
Vi or Violet.
Okay.
And that's also Andrew Mon started that, and Midge. So
Got it.
Midge
Got
is
it.
all thanks
Okay.
to him. And then we also have did I already say Meredith? Meredith is my wedding.
Meredith.
Meredith is blonde.
Oh, and
Yes.
who's on the Barricade?
Oh, Millicent,
Millicent.
also known as Millie.
And then is Millicent? No, but then who's in the Turning? Is that still Millicent?
That's Martha.
That's Martha.
That's back to Martha. Oh no, that is Millie. That is Millie.
As
I
you
don't
can
even
see,
know my own
it's a
M
woman
names.
of many M names.
So
She has
many
all
M
the M names,
names.
and I love it. I love that you have it, and she got swag it. And
I got swag, it has all the names.
Swag.
I
it
sure,
makes me
if
smile
I had
every
that, I
single
would have
time.
known.
That's
I would have
okay.
known.
I listen.
It's the excitement of being live.
Of course.
I don't even know my middle
course.
name.
So what advice would you give somebody out there that wants to pursue this? This is a question that I love asking. What is like a piece of advice or multiple pieces of advice that you give somebody out there that wants to go into this industry?
I would say persevere, socialize, support your friends. I actually got the way that snake of getting my equity card happened was I was at a friend's show. And I hung out with them after the show, and I met someone who said, hey, I need a PA. And they liked me. And so, like, literally, you don't know when someone might call, but just be open and be yourself and be, I don't know, ready to persevere, because, you don't know when it's going to happen.
Right.
You don't.
Right.
So it always helps to just stay calm and keep trucking along.
Keep trucking along.
Keep trucking along.
And like you said, have a positive attitude. Because I will say,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, Arianne is one of those people that when we come to work every day, she's so excited to be here and
I am.
so excited to like just be telling this story. And no matter how long the weeks get and the 1 weekers and how we are feeling and, you know, if we are not feeling well and sick and everything like that, she always will just be like, okay, we got through that one, we can get through another one. You know,
do the show.
And
Do
so
the thing.
she's such a calming presence, but also just like such a light on the barricade.
Oh,
so.
that's
We love you. We love you.
Oh.
So, anyway, thanks everybody out there. Thank you so much.
Oh, that was
for
lovely.
coming.
Sorry if I barked too much.
No, you're just fine, honestly. But here's the thing. I love doing these, right? Because look at your path
Yeah,
to
it
here.
was windy.
Look at your path to here. Oh, I just gotta wait.
Oh,
Is there another question?
is there another question?
What's your favorite part
Oh.
of understudying Madame Thenardier? You're right. I'm sorry.
Oh
Thank
my
you
gosh.
for reposting that question.
My favorite part is definitely playing with the Thenardiers. Definitely Matt. I haven't gone on with any of the understudies at the same time. Other people have. But that is what you kind of you don't necessarily get to play with them when you're ensemble. Like I only
Right.
see him in that one scene.
Right.
And he's doing his own thing and I'm in the background being Midge.
Yeah.
You know, been thrown around. But so yeah, getting to play with Matt is amazing. It's so special and it really just you feel so comfortable, you know, you're gonna be taken care of
Yes.
because it's always a lot like oh gosh.
Deer in headlights anytime you're
Yes,
throwing on
and it's
something like
comedy, so you have to play off of each other.
Yeah.
So you need to be comfortable with the person.
And like I also love
It's
that
wonderful.
like when Arianne gets to go on.
oh yes,
is
and
that
we
like
get to play.
we get to play
in the
and
bargain.
we have time where like that we have found our own moment to make people laugh. And I think
Nick.
that is
I got Nick once
she
because
got me once. That's right. She cleaned her teeth
I cleaned
up
my teeth.
right before she was gonna
Yes,
like, oh.
with the perfume. It was good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Okay, there was another question.
was another question.
And I missed it. Can you repost it one more time?
I think it might have been how many times I've gone on, which I think is 14 in almost 960 something performances.
Jeez.
Not a lot.
But
oh, wait,
when was the
who's
first time on and how many times have you gotten to go on? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, when it,
Last
you let me
question
know.
and,
Last
then, and then we're gonna
question.
and then we're
Okay,
gonna head out.
first time I went on, God, Christine came to me. It was a Sunday because it was a 2-show day, and her ankle started hurting in the middle of Act 1, and she turned to me and she said, "Arianne, today's the day." And I think it was Durham.
There you go.
It's a bit of a blur because that was almost 2-ish years ago.
Yeah.
And then
You know it from your pictures. You
Yes.
go back and you're like, when's the timestamp?
That's the
Yeah.
date.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the first time I went on, and I've been on for I think 14. 14
That's
is
amazing.
the number. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, Arianne, thank you so much.
This has
again.
been
Thank you so much
marvelous.
for coming on. And thank you, everybody out there, for tuning in. We'll see you next week here on ThNOT. Always check out Saturday Night on Tour ThNOT with Nick Rayberger and myself on my Instagram. And until next week, we will be seeing you on the barricade.
Stay positive. Keep going.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.